Yellowstone John's fate finally fixes its 5-season Dutton issue. Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 9's revelation about John Dutton IE fixes a 5-year Dutton issue. All You Need Is Desire finally answers how Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2 explains Kevin Costner's absence. There is a crime scene at the governor's mansion, and Beth Kelly Riley is the first to arrive. While her questions go unanswered, there is immediately a graveness to the moment. When she locks eyes with her father's assistant, a shake of her head suggests that things have taken a fatal turn for her father and Montana's governor. Beth enters the scene when Case, Luke Grimes, arrives moments later, flashing his badge to get them behind the barricade tape. They navigate their way to the crime scene, where their father, the de facto patriarch of the Dutton family, has allegedly shot himself. Kevin Costner's John Dutton twist-shocks even Jamie, Wes Bentley, who announces his father's death moments later as Montana's attorney general. While it's a tragic fate, it fully explains John Dutton's fate in Yellowstone and paves the way for a vital relationship to evolve. The alliance will be indispensable to Season 5's conclusion. Beth and Case haven't been particularly close throughout Yellowstone's 5 seasons, but they lean onto each other after their father's death, finally acting like proper siblings. They embrace during the tense moment, leaning on one another as they learn of their father's passing. It's a heartfelt moment for the siblings and sets the tone for their relationship in Season 5. The siblings' relationship was formerly strained by how to protect the ranch best, with Beth's belief that Case was bad for Yellowstone. However, the Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2 premiere clarifies that Beth will work with Case. Aside from a few conflicts stemming from their opinions on how to protect the ranch, Beth and Case have shared little time together throughout Yellowstone. Case has moved to and from the ranch in fluctuation with the needs of Monica, Kelsey Asbill, and Tate, Brecken Merrill, leaving fewer opportunities for the siblings to overlap. Moreover, Case and Beth don't interact much when they share a room. That will change in the rest of Yellowstone Season 5. The next obstacle for the siblings will be dealing with Jamie, who is likely involved in John's death. John's death was advantageous to the series because it bonded Beth and Case, who otherwise may have maintained their distance in Season 5. Part 2, preferring their relationship with their father. John's death means Beth and Case must work together to protect the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch. Moreover, John's death forces Case to pick whether he is Team Beth or Team Jamie in Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2, and after the death of John Dutton IE, it looks like Case will side with Beth. The war could very well include killing their adopted brother, who Beth is blaming. After John's death in Desire is All You Need, Beth encourages her younger brother to look Jamie in the eyes so that he can know the truth about his involvement in the crime. The Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2 trailer confirms an all-out Dutton war following John Dutton's fate, and John's death solidifies the coalition between Case and Beth. It makes sense for the series to strengthen the siblings' relationship in Season 5 since they are the only surviving Dutton children and share the goal of protecting their family's legacy, especially in their father's absence. Strengthening the relationship between Case and Beth in Yellowstone Season 5 is advantageous for the possibility of a Yellowstone sequel series or the show's continuation with Season 6. Options for continuing the series after Costner's exit have been a hot topic surrounding Season 5, Part 2's release. Beth and Case need a solid relationship to lead a series without Yellowstone's core protagonist. Whether the series continues with Season 6 or with a sequel starring the remaining leading cast members, focusing on Beth, Case, Rip Kohlhauser, and family. Either option would pick up where Yellowstone Season 5 leaves off. Despite a report that Yellowstone Season 6 with Kelly Riley and Kohlhauser was reportedly happening, As of writing, neither Paramount nor the Neo-Western series creator, Taylor Sheridan, has confirmed what direction the franchise will head. It could be that the showrunners are waiting to see how Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2, is received without Kevin Costner's John Dutton before it moves forward with a continuation of the series, regardless of what that looks like. Yellowstone proves it can pull its weight without Costner. The Season 5B premiere, with Beth and Case at its center, garnered over 16 million viewers. For 5 riveting, blood-soaked, legacy-laced seasons, Yellowstone has been circling the same dark question. Can a dynasty survive if it's built on violence? And more pressingly, can John Dutton survive it? Kevin Costner's John Dutton has been many things: rancher, governor, father, manipulator, and most iconically, the reluctant king atop a crumbling Western empire. For years, fans watched as he made impossible choices to protect the land passed down for generations. And yet, through all the branding, betrayals, and backroom deals, one narrative knot remained stubbornly tied. The Dutton family legacy couldn't move forward while John was still the one driving it backward. But with the series racing toward its conclusion, John Dutton's fate, long teased, often threatened, and always postponed, has finally come into sharp focus. And it's the exact kind of poetic, gut-punch closure Yellowstone has always owed its audience. Because John Dutton's exit, as painful and raw as it is, finally fixes the show's most lingering issue. The Duttons have been frozen in time, shackled by a patriarch unwilling to change, and haunted by a legacy soaked in the blood of those who dared cross it. The ghost of the West. Let's be honest. For all his charisma and quotable grit, John Dutton has always been a ghost, haunting his land more than stewarding it. His iron grip on the Yellowstone Ranch has been both its salvation and its curse. Every time his children attempted to chart a new course, he dragged them back into the mud of tradition, insisting the old ways were the only ways. Case tried to walk away. John pulled him back. Beth burned her soul at the altar of loyalty. John let her. Jamie sought independence. John exiled him. He wasn't just preserving a ranch, he was entombing his family in it. For 5 seasons, Yellowstone has cycled through variations of the same story. Threats arrive, the Duttons retaliate, and John emerges, battered but standing, repeating the same mantra. This land is my legacy, and no one will take it. But the land was always more than just acreage. It was a symbol, a burden, a battlefield. And until John relinquished his hold on it, willingly or not, there could be no evolution, only repetition. The long goodbye. John's final storyline is brutal, unflinching, and in many ways, the show's most honest chapter yet. After a terminal diagnosis he refuses to treat, John doesn't rage or wail. He retreats. Not in weakness, but in a kind of quiet surrender. He returns to the land he fought so viciously to protect. Alone on horseback, with the Montana wind whispering through the canyons like an old hymn. He watches a calf being born on a cold morning, sees a storm roll in over the peaks, and finally accepts what he's always known. He was never meant to save the Yellowstone. He was meant to return to it. And return he does, in a moment that feels less like a death and more like a merging. John dies in the saddle, under an open sky, his body found days later by Rip, who doesn't cry but simply nods, as if to say, this is how it always had to be. The chain breaks. What follows is the true catharsis. For the first time in the series, Yellowstone isn't about preservation. It's about transformation. Beth, long hardened by loyalty, is no longer her father's soldier. She's a strategist now, reimagining the ranch not as a fortress but as a foundation, something that can evolve instead of defend. Case, torn between duty and peace for years, steps into a new role, not as a replacement John, but as a bridge between old and new. He introduces regenerative grazing techniques. He opens the ranch to partnerships with native communities, honoring Monica's heritage and vision. Even Jamie, that twisted Shakespearean outcast, finds a bitter redemption. With John gone, the blood feud collapses. Jamie returns not to beg, but to build, using his legal mind to draft conservation laws that ensure the land's future, not just its past. John's death doesn't shatter the family. It liberates it. A new frontier, more than just closing an arc, John's departure finally realigns the show's core theme. For too long, Yellowstone posed the question, how far would you go to protect what's yours? Now it asks, what are you willing to let go of so something better can grow? It's a powerful pivot, and one that couldn't happen while John was still alive. He was the West incarnate, beautiful, dangerous, and unsustainable. His death breaks the cycle. No more branding boys in the bunkhouse. No more murder cover-ups disguised as loyalty. No more sacrificing hearts for land. Instead, the final episodes shift tone. There's still grit, still betrayal, but there's also something new, possibility. Beth starts a land trust. Case opens writing therapy programs for veterans. Rip and Carter continue running the bunkhouse, but with new rules, ones that prioritize purpose over punishment.